Day ahead of the monsoon session of Parliament, the all-party meeting is just going to begin in a few minutes from now. In fact, these visuals coming to us from the Parliament Annex are of leaders arriving, are of ministers arriving. There you see Rajnath Singh on your screens, Prahlad Joshi, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister as well. Members of Parliament from all parties are invited to this particular all-party meeting that is currently underway. It is to build consensus ahead of the 17-day monsoon session of the Parliament that begins tomorrow. MPs from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will be a part of this particular meeting. Several issues will be raised by the opposition. A discussion will be sought. Assurances perhaps would come in from the government side to ensure that there is consensus that is built, that the Parliament functions, because there are a lot of new bills that are at stake, several old bills that are likely to be reintroduced in this 17-day session as well. Pallavi Ghosh, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details. Yes, Pallavi.
So this is the first meeting which is taking place of the all-party. And this is kind of customary because usually a day before Parliament session begins, which is beginning tomorrow, all political parties also meet. And before that, the Business Advisory Council also meets to draw up the agenda. Now, what happens is from both the sides, the government makes its assurance clear that we are ready to debate and discuss on every topic, but there has to be a decorum in the House. And there are several bills the government already has put on the platter, which it, of course, is very keen to ensure that it gets passed. But as far as the opposition goes, they are, of course, very gung-ho after what happened yesterday. But more than that, they have several of issues which they want the government to reply to. First of all, and the most important for them is the Manipur issue. They're questioning the silence of the Prime Minister. So a short duration discussion on Manipur where response must be given by the Prime Minister is also one of their demands. Apart from that, of course, the alleged misuse of ED, CBI, the ordinance issue, whenever it comes up, that is one show of strength we may see from the opposition parties as well.
Right, now as far as the all-party meeting goes and the issue of Manipur goes, at least during the Business Advisory Committee meeting that just concluded, there was a consensus, or there was an assurance, so to say, that came to the fore that a discussion on Manipur would be allowed. The modalities, of course, still have to be discussed, but that should somewhat placate the opposition, because that perhaps was their biggest issue, isn't it, Pallavi?
I don't know whether it's going to completely placate the opposition, because the opposition would insist that the Prime Minister responds to it. Now, technically speaking, it's the Home Minister who's in charge of law and order is the one who's expected to respond to it. That may not satisfy the opposition. Look, this is a chance. A discussion on Manipur is a chance for the opposition parties to make things a little difficult for the government and repeatedly ask this question that, one, why is it that the Prime Minister, while he has time to travel abroad, speak about everything else, but not even speak once about Manipur? Second, if the Home Minister has gone there and stayed there for 2 to 3 days, why is it that things are still not normal? What is it that is lacking? And third, and the most important according to them, is the fact that why has the Chief Minister not been asked to step down as yet? So these are going to be too tricky territory, and I don't think the opposition would want to be placated in a hurry.
Right, to stay on with me, Payal, my colleague, also joining us, getting us the latest as far as the all-party meeting goes. The meeting has just about begun. Payal, is what we're learning. Members of Parliament from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha across party lines are going to be in attendance, and this really does set the stage for what's to come tomorrow once the session begins.
Well, it is a customary meeting which is taking place, and senior leaders of all political parties, whether it's the Congress or, the YSR Congress or the others, are all present in this particular meeting. The meeting, of course, is being called by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Mr. Prahlad Joshi. But Rajnath Singh, the Union Minister for Defence, who's also the Deputy Leader of the Lok Sabha, is chairing this particular meeting. The meeting is just about begun, like I said, and they're talking about the fact that they will be putting up for the legislative business as far as this upcoming session is concerned. The Leader of the House, Piyush Goyal, has also just come in for the meeting as well. It is going to be the grounds that you're rightly mentioning that will be set as far as the opposition and the government is concerned. On one front, the government will want to talk about the legislative business that they have in their kitty as far as the session is concerned, and the opposition parties naturally will be pressing for a lot of issues. Now, the issues that the opposition parties are going to raise have been well defined, by the conversation that we've heard from Jairam Ramesh amongst the others as well. So obviously it's going to be see what the outcome of this particular meeting will be, and how many parties actually get an opportunity to present their particular case and what they really want, and how much will the government concede, because it is expected to be a stormy affair given the fact that the prelude has been the meeting between the opposition and the government that you've seen yesterday in 2 different cities as well. And the government has been agreeable to have a discussion on Manipur that they confirmed in the Lok Sabha meeting of the Business Advisory Committee. But here, if the opposition parties will demand that the PM needs to reply, So what is the response to that by the government? That remains to be seen.
And it's also about optics, Payal, isn't it? It'll be interesting to see what really happens as far as members of parliament from the BJP and allies are concerned versus that of the new alliance that was formed yesterday that was named India. That was acronymed India because this is going to be the first face-to-face encounter of all the members after the battle lines were drawn as far as alliance battles are concerned yesterday.
Yes, the alliance battle lines certainly were drawn yesterday, but Parliament is a different thing altogether as well. Parliament is more of getting the numbers in place, getting the bills passed in place, and the opposition raising their particular issues as well. It's not so much about the 2024 elections. Parliament is going to be largely a battle to see who can get their agenda pursued as well. Like I said, government wants to pursue the agenda of passing bills. They will agree to some discussions that the opposition wants. For example, if the opposition wants a discussion on price rise, the government may agree to that. But if the opposition makes demands like the Prime Minister needs to come to the floor of the House and reply on Manipur, that is something which they will obviously not really, give in. They will not concede to it, and that remains to be seen. In a couple of hours from now, we will understand what the situation actually is in the all-party meeting. But also following this all-party meeting, Poonam, there will also be a meeting of the NDA floor leaders. Now, the NDA leaders met yesterday and had this whole discussion about the alliance. But what is going to be the flow strategy as far as the NDA is concerned? In both houses of parliament, that meeting is going to happen at 5:30 in the same premises that the all-party meeting is happening.
Right, so a day of crucial meetings before the parliament session begins tomorrow. As far as legislative business is concerned, Payal, there are several bills that are expected to be introduced in the 17-day session. There's fireworks expected on some of those bills, especially like the one on data protection.
Yes, the government has listed about 32 bills. In fact, a lot of these bills have been have been pending for a long time. They've not been passed by either houses as well. But the most contentious of those bills, in a way, which has got parties like the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress together, is the bill of the Delhi Ordinance. That is something which the government will want to pursue. The government is confident that they have numbers in both houses. In fact, in the Rajya Sabha, they have 112, which is the NDA strength, so they're capable of passing that particular bill. But will the opposition allow to really let that happen? That remains to be seen. Of course, the data protection bill is a bill which has been cleared by various standing committees on various occasions as well. So that's not going to be a bill which is going to be really opposed as well. But the government will try and tell the people that this is an important bill which needs to protect the people's integrity and people's data and information as far as that is concerned. Obviously, some of the other bills will also be brought in by the government. For example, the multi-state cooperative bill, again a bill which has been passed by the standing committee, is also going to be brought in for passage. And also bills like the Jan Vishwas bill, which was recently also cleared by a parliament scrutiny, will also be brought in for passage. So government is listed about 32 bills. The meeting has just about begun, and we'll have to wait and see in a couple of hours how the meeting goes on, and if at all anybody really decides to walk out, because there have been occasions in which parties, if they've not been allowed to give their version of what they want, they've decided to walk out as well.